Hi, good morning. My name is Kimberly Taran.
And I'm Katya Garza. And we're gonna talk about our project and our back-to-back lesson. So we were assigned to teach at the Rivera High School. We got 10th grade, and this is a pre-AP geometry class. The class is composed of 28 students, and like I said, it's pre-AP.
So students are very competitive. They are willing to learn, and they do participate during the class.
Our triangle here explains what we plan to do as we incorporate the learning objectives and everything. So the theory we're using it's socio-ecological theory, and the essential question: how is the area of polygons related to the total area of composite figure? Then our main goal is for students to calculate polygon areas using corresponding formulas. We really want to emphasize how the formulas have their logic. Like sometimes we just learn things, but it's not supposed to be like just memorize stuff, but also to know the logic behind. So we want to open that mindset for students. Also, we will provide some problems that will require to solve for a variable, so that we use algebraic equations, using the given information. And our main goal also is for students to calculate the area of composite figures containing basic polygons. So we want for students to develop intuitions based on visuals that we'll provide.
Okay. So our definition for funds of knowledge is where students use prior knowledge so that we can implement new knowledge. And the funds of knowledge that students bring in is usually cultural and background. And this topic, the students can relate to it by using their imagination and creativity to connect and to stimulate motivation. So students are going to be developing meaningful learning by the lesson that we will be presenting on Saturday. For example, I practiced it myself this morning, and it did take a lot of critical thinking. It did take more time than supposed to, so that is something that we're taking from the practice today, is to keep track of time. Mm-hmm. And for example, me and Katya did our projects completely different. So this was my project. This is what I was able to do in the time given, and Katya's was.
Well, mine is not decorated. But we wanted to do this, and I encouraged Kimberly to do her own figure because we wanted to see the misconceptions or what we needed to. We wanna take students' creativity to motivate them. So, for instance, here in Brownsville, we have a downtown, and downtown has several art pieces. Like if you go walking, you can see them, and it's something within our culture. And we want to take that inspiration and take it together with our lesson plan. And since we're working with figures, so sometimes artists use geometric figures to as an inspiration. So we want to take that side and to make it like fun or interesting for them, that we want students to be engaged. So we want to take that side of them. Also, this will develop meaningful learning from their personal experience, because they see these things. They see the art, the artwork that we have within the community.
Okay, so the main goal of the lesson is for students to calculate and to compose figures. So they're going to be calculating the area of the figures that is gonna equal to an amount given, and they cannot surpass that amount, or it cannot be less than that amount. So by doing so, students are going to be engaged throughout the lesson. It's going to take a lot of critical thinking, and it's gonna take their imagination to another level because it is a competition, and they're going to apply their cultural, which is with their arts, and be applying math to the project.
Also, I don't know if you want to explain more about what we plan students to like our project. Like we want to engage them by we're gonna pretend we're getting into a contest. So the content it's gonna be based on the community in a community gallery. So the students are gonna have to follow specific guidelines, right? So can you go over some of the requirements that we had planned?
Yes, and we did learn in with our planning that there we do have to make some adjustments. Like for example, the timing, the art that they make, it can be four different polygons. For example, I use my 4 different polygons more than once. Katya only used hers twice. That's something that 2 different students can do.
And we have to consider the different ways that students learn, because I think one way, she thinks another way. So we want to put it together and do more restrictions
And
as far as
arrange it.
instructions. Yeah. So that's what we got from today. Also, we were also very engaged, and we were like calculating the area, because we want, one of the requirements is for students to, their goal is in a specific area for the composite figure, so they cannot surpass that. So we have to I started with the calculations. She started with the figures. So there's 2 different ways.
Like if you can see my calculations, we had a restriction of 120 of area, and what I did, I was just subtracting every figure that I would add to my art, and that's how it went. But Katya did it the opposite way.
First, this is not a scale, but what I did is that I calculated the area of each figure and then I put it together. But I just wanted to use one figure, and as Kimberly was mentioning, she used several triangles.
I did
several parallelograms.
I did like a collage, you can say.
So we want to work on that together to restrict the requirements, and that way students would not have misconceptions, or they're not going to be confused. So we have to think about those details.
And yeah, this is what our lesson looks like for next Saturday.
Thank you.